Saber readjusts her stance. Saber's already set his armor is at its limit. Archer's already said his armor is at his limits. If Saber can go back on the offensive with the same fury as before, she should be able to cut through his armor. Even if he pulls out his Noble Phantasm now, the next blow will decide the match. The sword in her hand is still invisible. She readies her sacred sword, still bound up in swirling wind, and faces her enemy. Saber seems to know that what that Noble Phantasm is. She puts that distance between them because she knows how to deal with it. She readies herself to face Archer directly. Each of them wields a sword, and their powers are equal. And if their powers are equal, then it's a matter of the wielder's skill. And that would mean Saber will win. The man laughs. Saber charges without hesitation. Her sword will cleave through his armor. The very instant I think that, an invisible door opens behind the man. Saber jerks to one side. Archer holds something else in his hand now, not a black and red sword. It's an invisible sword, like Saber's. By the time Saber deflects it, Archer already has a different sword. His sword strikes at her in a merciless. His sword strikes at her in a merciless rain of ice shards. Saber twists away to dodge, but the air around her becomes almost solid with flying blades. She's driven back as the blades close in on her from all sides. As the shards clinging to Saber vanish, her enemy holds a deadly-looking weapon that resembles the Grim Reaper's scythe. Saber blocks the weapon arching at her neck with a gauntlet, but it's useless. The scythe shears through her gauntlet like it's a tissue paper and begins to drain her magical energy. It's as if it's trying to pull out her bones rather than her blood or flesh. Saber stumbles, but she manages to keep it together. But her retreat takes on a different note. She's not distancing herself to prepare for her next attack. She's desperately fleeing the enemy. Saber glares at Archer as she passes magical energy through her numbed arm. A halo of hilts floats around Archer. Those are the swords that slaughtered Castor. His Noble Phantasm. Now it's backing Saber into a corner. Yep. Even I, looking from a distance, can't believe what I'm seeing. All those hilts floating behind them are definitely his Noble Phantasm. Not 10, not 20. I can't see them all, but I can see there's no end to them. They're all from different times and places. That servant has all the divine mysteries that have ever been mentioned in various legends and lore. Saber's voice trembles. No servant would ever reveal their true name because someone asks. But Archer's Noble Phantasm is so bizarre, Saber couldn't help but ask.
英霊が持つ宝具は一つだけのはず。いいえ、中には複数の宝具を持っている者もいますが、だとしても二つが限度だ。
And then there's people like Perseus who have like 5.
そのように際限なく宝具を持つ英霊など存在するはずがない。
存在するはずがない。それは早計だな、セイバー。英霊は生前持ち得た武器を宝具とする。ならば単純な話ではないか。この宝具は全て俺が生前に集めたものということではないか。
私を侮っているのか、アーチャー。それこそ絶対にありえない。あなたが何者であろうと、他の英霊たちのシンボルたる宝具を揃えられるはずがない。そのような英霊はこの世界に存在しない。
Saber's right. All the noble phantasms he has are real. There are demonic swords from northern Europe, and even from South America. No hero ever made a name for themselves in so many regions. Besides Lancer, should only be the one with Guy Bolg. Heroic spirits have their favorite weapon they use during their life as their noble phantasm. Based on that rule, the only one who can have Guy Bolg is Cuchulainn. But Archer isn't Cuchulainn. And that means the spear can't be Guy Bolg. But the thing is, it definitely is the real Guy Bolg. If those noble phantasms are all fake, that would explain it, but they're real. So that's just... No, wait. Could they all be originals? The weapons prototypes? That seems impossible, but then again, it might be possible. Legend and myth don't spring up from nothing. Plenty of myths share commonalities because someone or something served as the model for them. Legends which get to the point of becoming the basis of worship usually only take root in lands where they are said to take place. That's one of the reasons demonic swords and sacred swords reveal their true abilities in the lands they came from. So let's say there's something from before even that. What if various noble phantasms in mythology existed before they were known and named?
お前のマスターも捨てたものではないな。どうやら俺の正体に心当たりがあるらしい。
Saber turns to face me. She's so far away. I can't help her from so far away. And I've finally gotten to the point where I can move, even if it's still difficult. Run, Saber! His noble phantasms are...
本物だというのだろう。そう、単純な話だせい。最も古い時代、まだ世界が一つだった頃の話をしよう。その国は栄え、王はあらゆる財宝を収集した。集められぬものなどなく、足りぬものなどなかった。王は完璧な宝物庫を持ち、その中にある有象無象の武器は使われることなく王と共に眠りについた。要はそれだけの話だ。王の死後、宝物庫の中身は世界に散らばり、名剣であるがゆえに重宝され活躍し、いずれ宝具として扱われた。わかるか、騎士王よ。お前たちの扱う宝具とやらは、もともとはその王の持ち物に過ぎないのだ。
It's like an inheritance. As long as you trace an object's history, a base or prototype will always exist. It only makes sense that every legend, myth, or noble phantasm passed down in every country has an original. Far enough back into the past, if one person collected all those prototypes, they could possess every noble phantasm. And that could only be one hero. A hero from the oldest of legends, far older than than the legend of King Arthur or Heracles. The tyrant who ruled ancient Mesopotamia. The king who was half god, half human, who collected all the world's treasures and who eventually sought eternal youth.
ギルガメッシュ、人類最後の英雄王。
Yep. The true name finally revealed. They didn't reveal it during Samurai Remnant. Though I have spoken it several times by mistake, and I had to edit it out in post. Saber sounds like she's trying to keep the fear in her voice. The fear from her voice. Gilgamesh relishes as her reaction.
いかにもこの身は貴様らでは叶うべくもない最強の英霊だ。
I'll wait till the end of the scene to read the detail, to read the new thing. There's nothing else to discuss. All that's left now is for him to use his endless noble phantasms to annihilate his enemy.
ほう我の名を知った上でまだ抗うか。今度こそ勝ち目がないと悟ったはずだが。
やってみなければわかりません。いかに英雄王といえど超えられぬものがあるはずだ。
The air around Saber wavers. The wind envelops her as it picks up, becoming a whirlwind to protect her. As it does, her golden sword is revealed. No, Saber! I don't believe this. Does Saber intend to use Excalibur? Gilgamesh stops. He must know how powerful Saber's sacred sword is, because as his self-assured composure falters. Saber glances towards me briefly, but her focus is on Gilgamesh now. She is telling me to run away while I have the opportunity. Is she telling me to run away while I have the opportunity? Gilgamesh's back is to the river, while Saber is over here with me. This position must be the result of our shuffling around earlier. Before I realize what's happening, Saber is facing Gilgamesh, protecting me. No, you can't. Not here. I try to force myself to move, and with all the strength I can muster in my numbed body, all I can manage is lifting a single arm. I use every bit of magical energy in my body to use that arm to push myself up. Come on! I've lost all sensation, but every bone in my body creaks as I begin moving. The pain is a warning. My body is coming apart at the seams, and if I move, that'll be it. I push myself to my feet, ignoring the warning. I try to endure the pain. I don't have time for it. All I need to do is to get my feet as fast as I can, to my feet as fast as I can and protect Saber. I have a really, really bad feeling about this. It's the same premonition I felt when I faced Gilgamesh myself. We can't beat him, no matter what. My instincts keep telling me that I just can't let Saber fight him. The swirling wind has become a raging vortex. Even in the face of that dazzling sword, Gilgamesh is unintimidated. On top of that,
ちらもふさわしいものを出さなければな。
He draws a strange sword from the gate behind him. Oh boy. That's where my premonition came from. The sword he has now doesn't exist in any legend. I can identify every one of the noble phantasms floating behind him, but I have no idea about that sword.
俺は全ての宝具の原型を持つ。だがそれらは全て無名であり、俺しか持ち得ぬ武具というわけではない。
The sword itself is cylindrical. It consists of 3 segments, each rotating in different directions. It looks like a drill capable of piercing solid bedrock.
だがこれは違う。正真正銘、この英雄王しか持ち得ぬ剣だ。名などないんだ。俺はエアとだけ呼んでいる。
純粋に宝具の力比べをすると。
Light flashes off their weapons. The two of them are still about 10 meters apart. Gilgamesh can't possibly avoid her attacks from that distance.
そう。遠慮することはないぞ。最強と呼ばれるその剣。一度味わってみたくもあったから。
His laughter echoes in the space between them. Saber must have taken that as provocation.
いいだろう。ならば我が剣、見事受け切ってみるがいい。
Saber moves. Her lips form the sword's true name. There's nowhere to run now. The noble phantasm releases when its wielder speaks its name, strikes mercilessly at Gilgamesh.
出番。起きるがいい。エア。
The cylindrical sword roars. In response to Gilgamesh's words, the 3 segments whirl faster. If Saber's Excalibur summons a whirlwind and by driving wind away, Gilgamesh's Ea creates a gale by drawing in wind. But Saber is more experienced at handling her anti-fortress noble phantasm. It's faster than Ea. Saber pours as much magical energy as she possibly can into her weapon in seconds, and igniting its massive power. She doesn't hesitate. Saber unleashes the might of a sacred sword so powerful it could split a river in 2. In the same moment, a light of matching intensity flares to meet Excalibur's attack. The impact is tremendous. Raging winds tear trees from the ground, colliding light. The colliding lights are like an exploding sun, blinding me. No, I'm on the verge of being carried off by the wind. I cling to the ground with my only functioning arm. It's all I can do to weather the storm of wind, light, and heat. How long will this go on? Their overwhelming attacks are so powerful, I fear they might split the world in 2. But then, you might say they're blowing me away. Shut up, I'm funny. Ah. It suddenly ends with Saber surrounded by a white light. A crash breaks the unexpected silence. Something thuds on the ground beside me. Saber? I know what it is. Even half blind, I couldn't mistake what I'm seeing. She looks dead. She's a bloody mess. In the distance, the golden knight, completely unscathed, laughs like a madman.
人類最強の聖剣とやらもその程度か。人間の幻想など、所詮子供魂よな。
His laughter rises so high it seems to roar up into the heavens. This must be hilarious to him. He's just smiling to himself, not even paying Saber any mind now that she's fallen. Saber. She doesn't answer. Blood spurts from her mouth as she tries to gasp. The world is red. What was I doing? I knew this would happen. I knew Saber couldn't win against Gilgamesh, so why didn't I try to stop her, even if I had to use a command spell?
しかし味気ない。完全にこちらの圧勝か。相殺することもできぬとは拍子抜けだぞセイバー。ああそうか。少しは手加減してやるべきだった。何しろ相手は女子供だったのだ。
Obviously, he's a sexist pig. His smug voice is grating. This is my fault. I thought she could win. As bad as a feeling as I had about this, I was sure Excalibur would win. I may have told her to stop, but my command spell didn't react. I obviously wasn't serious. If I had been serious about protecting her, I could have used the command spell to make her escape, even if it was just her. Then there would have at least been options for me to fight on my own.
ではいただくとするか。汚れてしまったが。何？いずれ同じ目に遭うのだ。ここで傷つこうと問題はあるまいよ。
His voice draws closer. Saber must have come to. Her eyes are open. Saber, are you all right? I can see her breathing, yet I'm still far away and I can't reach her. She stays still, but I can't run to her. She lays still, but I can't run to her. All I can do is call out to her. Saber! 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 Saber's mouth opens. She breathes in as if to ask for help, but even that is painful enough to send her into a coughing fit. Her voice is weak, and the question makes clear she can't see me. Hold on, I can't very well say I'll help. I'm on the ground too, and I can only move one arm. I can't even offer words of encouragement. At least she can't see me in this pathetic state. She tilts her head towards me, her eyes lifeless. Saber coughs up blood. Anger seizes me, and I see red. I've been relying on Saber, and this is the result. I took one hit and can't even get up. I grab my head with one hand, with the one hand that still works. I could just kill myself. I have every intention of crushing my head, and so pour all the strength I can into my hand. The switch fails. Instead of using my finger, I imagine a hammer press the switch to change myself into a mage. I hear Tosaka's voice. She said that trying to do magecraft beyond your abilities will destroy the caster's nerves and magic circuits. So what? Saber's more important than any of that. If I can protect her, I don't need my head anyway. She saved me so many times. I've never cared about someone the way I care about her. So, if I can't protect her, I'm better off dead. I hear the pounding of iron. The shattering of the shattered bones of my body are being reinforced by magical energy. There's no holding back. I throw my switch wide open, ignoring my own limits. I generate as much magical energy as I can. My spine ignites. My entire body grows red hot. My brain feels like it's melting, and I bite my tongue to endure it. My teeth sink into the fleshy muscle. But I have to bite a hole in my tongue to remain conscious. If I have to bite a hole in my tongue to remain conscious, so be it. The footsteps stop. Gilgamesh's amused laughter stops with them.
シロ、何をしているのです。ダメだ。そんなことをしたら体が。
She must sense something, even without being able to see. Saber screams as she tries desperately to push herself up. Something in me snaps. I stand up. My body tries to ignore my orders, and begins to move with the help of the surge of magical energy I pour into it. It's like being set on fire and instinctively running towards water in hopes of surviving. I don't care. It's better than seeing Saber like that. Oh, right. With my mind nearly burning up, I finally realize, from the beginning, I vowed to wield my sword because I didn't want her to get hurt.
逃げてと言っているのに、どうして。
I stop the enemy from approaching. Saber is behind me on the ground. This is it. There's no way I can retreat now. Trace on. I restrain my panicking, burning body and focus my will. I need to imagine one single thing. I divide the projection into 8 sections and replicate the lost sword. There's something solid in my left hand. I don't even have to look. My second attempt at manufacturing the sword, it succeeds.
いえ、それでもダメだ。シロも分かっているはずです。動けるのなら、今は逃げるのが。私の剣。いえ、それでもダメだ。 シロも分かっているはずです。それでは彼には勝てないと。
I'm not running. I came here to get you. No way I'm going home alone. I have the sword. I hold it in both hands. It's so much heavier than the bamboo sword. And glare at Gilgamesh.
やめてシロ。この男はそんな。
I ignore Saber's words and take a step forward. There's about 4 meters between us. If I rush at him with all my might, maybe I can cut him down. He doesn't move. Gilgamesh watches me for a moment, then laughs. His voice is utterly devoid of emotion. I instinctively block the attack that comes my way. Why you? I dodge the surprise attack by swaying sideways. Too slow. If the first attack gives a sudden gust, the barrage of attacks that follow is like a storm. Blocking is all I can do. Actually, I would have even been able to block the first attack of my own. Fortunately, when I reproduced the sword, I also reproduced its memory. A sword that has been in so many battles gains a will of its own after all that experience. This sword must have already mastered this particular dance. I can't follow Gilgamesh's attacks, but the sword seems to be able to. Before I move my arm, the sword is already reacting to Gilgamesh's attacks. I let the sword guide me, and I managed to parry Gilgamesh's fierce attacks. I know we're like in the middle of something, but I really need to take a bio break right now. It might turn into a food break. I'll let you guys know. Give me a bit, guys. All right, I'm back. What? Did the game crash? The game crashed. It doesn't last long. Every time I swing the sword, my fingers go numb, and I find myself gradually lagging more and more behind in the sword's guidance. Gilgamesh must not be able to tolerate even the slightest bit of resistance from me. He glares hatefully at me and as he backs up just the slightest bit. I'm saved. If he kept attacking, I wouldn't have lasted another second. I try to catch my breath, and then he draws a sword. What? It looks familiar. The decorations are different, though. The thought that went into making that sword, as well as its soul, are too similar to this sword. Don't tell me, the prototype of this sword? Is he saying he's holding the original model for the sword in the Tree of Supremacy, the Norse hero Sigmund's demonic sword Grom? Light flares from the blade. The sword understands perfectly that this is the same attack which killed Berserker in a single strike. It must be protecting its owner. The sword in my hand moves towards the enemy's sword, more fiercely, more powerfully than ever before. The noble phantasm called Caliburn, the golden sword of assured victory, but it shatters instantly in the face of Merodach, the original sin. I hear something sliding along the ground. It's a faint rustling sound. Is the park ground slippery? I roll across the ground and like a bit of trash in the wind before finally coming to a stop. Her voice tells me I'm still alive. Oh, there you are, Saber. I'm relieved to see that. I thought I'd been blown away, but it doesn't matter since Saber is here. And then, as long as I can stand up, I can run. I can run to her. Ah! I glance at my arm. It's red. My arm is covered in some sort of sticky red membrane, but there's no blood coming from it. Saber's shouts reach me as I lay there, staring at my arm. It looks like my torso is what hurts. That single attack. I'm pretty sure Gilgamesh's sword is what sent me flying. That at least explains why I'm injured. No wonder Saber's so upset. The only thing I can move is my right hand. My left hand doesn't move. I'm not even sure what happened to my left hand. I can't even breathe. A diagonal slash covers my torso, starting at my left shoulder. The slash runs all the way through my body, separating parts of me like unmatched building blocks. I look like a ginkgo leaf. I've been cut open from the shoulder to hip. It's actually creepy I'm still alive right now. I don't think this miraculous survival is going to last too long. I'm conscious right now, but my vision is already starting to narrow. Besides, even a tiny movement will send all my organs tumbling out of my torso. Maybe I really am dead, and my consciousness or my ghost or something is just hanging around watching what's unfolding.
なんだ、見事に散らばったと思ったが存外にしぶといのだな。なるほど。生き汚さだけが雑種の取り柄というわけか。
He laughs. I'm grateful for it, honestly. The more horribly grating that laughter is, the harder my consciousness fights to cling to my physical body.
だがそこまでだ。貴様に獅子は似合わん。その女は俺がもらう。
More footsteps. This time he's going to take Saber. He's going to take Saber for sure. Going to check. Oh no, we are not at that place yet. This is another dead end point. Checking. I pour all my strength, all the strength I have left into my one good arm. I try to grip the ground with a sticky, slippery arm and lever myself upright, even as I'm on the verge of literally splitting apart. For a brief second, I see Saber's face. She's on the brink of tears. In that moment, I'm proud to know falling in love with her wasn't a mistake. Hold it, it's not over yet. I force myself up. Neither of my legs work. The magical energy that's barely kept my body moving is gone. All that remains is my faint heartbeat and the throbbing of my organs trying desperately to continue functioning.
ほう、未練か。だろうな。あれはお前には過ぎた宝だ。その気持ちはわからんでもない。ならばこそ他の男の手に奪われるのは悔しかろう。
I really don't like the way you talk. Too far. He goes too far. I can't listen to another second of his shit. Enough. Quit talking about Saber like she's just something to be claimed. I pour what energy I can into my right arm. It feels like it's made of lead. My body creaks in protests, but begins to obey. I push myself up to one knee. Damn, listen to me! I take a deep breath, trying to focus what strength I have left. Every time I move, I feel my organs shift around and as if with minds of their own.
なぜもう無理だとどうしてわからないのです。
Saber sounds like she's denouncing me. She's far away. In the distance, I can see her staring at me. Okay, that's cool. That's cool to eat, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'll extend the stream for however long I'm gone. See you then, guys. Alright, I'm back, and I was gone for about 14 minutes, so let's be generous and say 16 minutes. I'll add 16 minutes to the stream. In the distance, I can see her staring at me, sad and forlorn. I pushed everything from my mind to focus on making my body move. Saber's voice is just a distraction. Gilgamesh's laughter, the pathetic states my body's in. None of that is my biggest obstacle right now. Right now, it's Saber. Hearing her say that, seeing her looking like that, it's almost enough to make me give up. Finally, I feel life flood into my knees. Now all I have to do is get to my feet.
いらない。あなたの助けなどいりません。敗北した以上、私はすでにあなたの剣ではないんです。このまま消えるのがサーバントとして当然の結末ではないですか。
It's Saber's voice. Damn. If you keep saying that, if you keep saying this even harder, I'll get mad, even at you.
やだ、やめてください、シロ。それ以上はダメだ。本当に死んでしまう。こんなことであなたに死なれたら私は。
I can't keep listening to this. She has no idea how I feel. Shut up. Just be quiet a minute. There's nothing wrong with relying on me at times like this.
それは違うシロ。優先順位を間違えないでほしい。私の身などどうでもいい。そんなものより、あなたは自身の命を第一にするべきだ。
She's pleading with me. Knowing that I'm responsible for the agonizing sound of her for the agonized sound of her voice makes me want to give up right now. But I refuse. There's nothing in the world I want more than you. I can't allow myself to give in to her plea. Saber gapes at me. I'm not sure why, but I remember something. She once told me I was a fool who didn't know the value of my own life. I think she's right. For someone who can't help themselves to try, for someone who can't help themselves to try help someone is a little presumptuous. There's only one. They're really only doing it for their own happiness, while the person they're meant to be helping may not be half so pleased. Someone's first priority should be themselves. The people who think that the people who think like that are the ones who can be truly happy, and so they can then share that happiness with other people as well. Yeah, I know I'm a fool who doesn't value his own life. I've been wrong about the most important thing in my life. From that day, the place in my heart where whatever is most important to me should have been was empty. But I'm grateful for that abnormality, because now that empty space is filled with the person I truly want to save. But Saber, even if I'm the most important thing in my life, nothing will change. You are so much more beautiful than my life could ever be. Nothing could ever replace you in my heart. And then I realized it wasn't that I was sympathetic towards her. The girl of my dreams, that girl who fought and died alone, who I felt was never rewarded for all she did, I was in awe of her. I thought she was beautiful beyond words. The vivid image of her taking her sword and charging into battle, never looking back, was awe-inspiring. Yeah, that's why. That's why I need to protect you, Saber. You are alone your entire life, so I have to make sure you're not swallowed up by the darkness in your last moments. Yep, once this is all over, on the verge of your death, I hope you can go to your eternal slumber, proud of what you did with your life. No more hesitation. My objective is clear. Sorry, I love you more than anything, Saber, so I'm not letting him take you. I regret the apology as soon as I give it, but I wanted to tell her. I wanted to tell her that now of all times, because I wanted to tell her that now of all times, because the word could come straight from my heart. I sense her gasping. I want to turn around to see her face, but no, I can't really see anyone. I can't really see anyone anyway. I stand up. As long as my heart is still beating, I can keep fighting. Magical energy is life. As long as it flows through me, I can create as many swords for her as she needs.